Today, we are going to talk about the side of you that you're trying to hide. I wore my spicy shirt and my hoops to get in the mood because I'm feeling the Shannon shadow side. Welcome to Dichotomy with Shannon. Today, we are going to talk about you still being good, even with your shadow side. This is the part of you that you were taught to be ashamed of: the anger, the jealousy, the desires that you have, the sharp tongue, the need to be seen. You know what I'm talking about. This is the you that you only let out in private, or maybe even at all, because she's so shoved down inside, but it's still part of you. So we need to bring her up. I think that we call sin our shadow side. I think that we call it something from the enemy. I think that we call it a weakness. But what if your shadow side was actually a signal? What if it's the part of you that God is trying to work through, not erase? It's the dichotomy of being good and bad. It's the dichotomy of literally living the human experience as a spiritual being. I know that I'm about to piss off both the religious perfectionists, hello, Pharisees, and the new age bypassers, okay? But I'm going to say this: your shadow is not your curse. Your shadow is your clue to the true you. This is the you that is still waiting to be met with compassion instead of condemnation because your parents punished you for it. Can I just talk to you for a second? Not as a coach or some voice behind a mic, but as a woman that loved being called the good girl. I loved being called the good girl. I never wanted to be called the bad girl. Who wants to be called the bad girl? I mean, I'm sure some kinks, yeah, whatever. But I wanted to be the good girl. I liked it. I liked the praise. I liked knowing that I was doing what was expected of me. I wanted to be the Proverbs 31 woman so badly that I started filtering out everything through: what would a godly woman say? What would a godly woman want? What would a godly woman feel? Is this bad? And my humanness wants this desire. Is that bad? That sensuality, is that bad? Anytime a desire would rise up in me, whether it was to be loud or to take up space or to say no or to want something so deeply, I would shove it back down, not because it was wrong, but because I was told it was wrong. As I was told it was wrong, or I was even afraid of someone thinking it was wrong. So talk about living behind somebody else's judgments. Talk about not living your true self. I never wanted to be too bold, too expressive, because I thought that was bad. And I wanted to reclaim my good part of it. I am good. So I would shove my desires deep within my body. And I thought that if I kept those parts of me quiet, that I would be holier. But what became was this unfulfilling, deep void within me. And it just took up space. And it was empty and it was hollow and it was depressing because I was at a war within myself. And the truth is, I like those parts of me. Those parts that somebody may say it's too sensual or name calling, whatever, you can label it easy. I like those parts of me. I like the loudness. I like that I'm not shy. I like that I can walk into any room and own the room and talk to anybody and no one is a stranger. It's like I've known them for years upon years upon years. I love that part of me. I used to pray that I could be the quiet girl in the corner because I was told, oh, it's the Shannon show again, by people that I loved and respected, right, in my circle. And I didn't want it to be the Shannon show, so I would just shrink. There are certain parts about me, the passionate part, the playful part, the part that wants to laugh really loud or dance for no reason, feel deeply, feel desired and desire fully. And that is not bad. That is not shameful. That is me. That is what makes up Shannon McVeigh. Whole. That's wholeness. And if I kept living that war within myself of who I am, I wasn't truly walking with God. Honestly, it was kind of self-hate in disguise because I buried that part of me. I was in shame about that part of me. And I think a lot of Christians do that. I think a lot of Christians shame not only ourselves, but each other. We condemn each other because we hold each other accountable. It's really jacked up. And I want to pivot a little bit to talk about the neuroscience behind the shadow self that some people are like, oh, that's so woo-woo. It's not woo-woo. It's actually wiring. When we repress certain traits of ourselves, whether it's rage, sensuality, sadness, power, it's a neurological thing. The brain registers those traits as dangerous because you probably got punished as a child. You probably got shamed. You got rejected for being loud, angry, or expressive or sensitive. You're too sensitive as a child. So your nervous system encoded that being those things and having those emotions and those feelings, that it is not safe. So that part of me equals not safe, which equals I need to suppress to survive. And that suppression becomes a strategy. Have a whole module on this through True Self Revolution, the Academy. You got to go if you want to dig deeper into it. But when you feel that shadow trait trying to come up later in life, it's like asserting yourself or even expressing attraction, whatever it is. Your brain sounds an alarm. Stop. Not even if you're in danger, but it's going to create chronic stress in your body. It's going to create emotional dysregulation because you're constantly fighting your own emotions, your own needs. And your nervous system is going to be burnt out. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have numbness. You're going to have fatigue. You're going to have autoimmune issues. I have stress induced autoimmune vitiligo on my face. If you guys know my history, you know that I've been on camera for 17 years. And imagine getting vitiligo on your face. Stress induced autoimmune disease. Do you know why? I will tell you. Because I wasn't living truly who I was, because I wanted to fit into the freaking box of be submissive and win them over without a word, that I became a complete martyr of my own life, so depressed, so out of touch with my own needs, wants, and desires, thinking that it's bad. And I literally hated life. I didn't want to die, but I hated life. It was not fun for me. Hence, autoimmune stress induced disease. By the way, they do tell me that you can't cure it. I truly believe that the body can heal anything, and watch me. We're going to cure it. So let's follow that journey. Or maybe I like it because my whole face will be white by the time I'm 80s and it won't even look like I was in the sun. So maybe it's a gift. Thank you. But could you imagine what that did to me in my 30s, having a stress induced autoimmune disease while I'm on camera? I truly believe that when you acknowledge and express those shadow traits inside of yourself in a safe way, in an intentional way, then you're going to literally create new neural pathways. Those new neural pathways, it's what's going to heal your trauma cycles. Shadow work is trauma integration, it's nervous system regulation, it's upgrading your identity. It's how we stop letting that little 7-year-old version of ourselves run our adult lives. She just wants to be seen, held, and understood. She wants to be told that her loudness is not bad, that her expression is not a sin, that it's okay. How do you expect children to not have emotions, yet you can? I can't stand mothers that I see are so freaking off hinge. They freak out at everything. Their nervous systems are completely unregulated, yet they yell at their child for expressing emotions. Even let's talk biblically. Biblically, people say, oh, shadow self is not in the Bible, but it kind of is. If you really look at David saying, search in me, O Lord, search my heart, test me, know my anxious thoughts, see if there's any offensive way in me, lead me into the everlasting. That is shadow work. And that's not full of shame. That's full of beauty and love. He's asking for that. That is an invitation to see what's hidden in you, not to shame it, but to bring it into light and alignment. 2 Corinthians, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Your weakness is that shadow part. And God is made perfect in there. You need to go to God. He's there to bind you up. This is how we bring things to the light. Paul, even in Romans, saying, I do not understand because I do the things I do not want to do. That is the divided self. Talk about dichotomy. Holy crap. Dichotomy between shadow and spirit. Shadow work is the process of not hiding, but healing. So if you're tired of pretending, I want you to know that I see you. If you're editing yourself to be more palatable for somebody, to be more polite, to be more accepted to the people who don't even know how to hold the real you, I want to remind you in the best way possible that that is in survival mode. That is not godliness. That is not holiness. You are in survival. God is not asking for a performance. He's just asking you to be real. Stop hiding. He knows all those parts about you anyway. Go to him with everything. Bring it to the light. The goal was never perfection. The goal is wholeness. So I want you to bring your fire, bring your sass, bring your softness and your strength. Bring the questions, any questions. God can handle it. Bring your desires. God can handle it. He made you that way. And he's not calling that version of you that you've been pretending to be. He's calling the version of you that you have buried deep down inside because of shame. I want to remind you and get this really into your skull, because I needed this reminder in this subconscious programming, that you are still good. You are still good even when you break the rules. Honestly, some rules are so freaking stupid and they're made to be broken. Like, honestly, sometimes we just want to control things so bad. Some rules are there because they're good. I'm not like some anarchist. I'm not like F the government, but you are still holy when you say no, when you create boundaries. You are still worthy when you don't want to perform anymore. You don't need to clean yourselves up before you go before God or yourself. I truly believe that's actually religious trauma and it's not righteousness. So, right now, I want you to name one shadow trait that you have hated inside of yourself, that you have allowed it to fester and control certain parts of you, whether it's rage, jealousy, control, defensiveness, and ask yourself, what is this trait trying to protect? What is this pointing me toward? What would happen if I loved and accepted this part of me instead of trying to shame it away? If you stop fighting it, then you can see that the shadow isn't your enemy. It is just part of you that's trying to get your attention. It's not there to sabotage you. It's actually there to save you from a life that's too small for your full self. I created a free workbook called Reclaiming the Shadow because this is where so many of us get stuck. And I'm going to link it here. And it's not self help or more work or more healing. It's really just permission to be whole. The workbook is gritty, it's raw, it's full of mirror work, reflection, and I believe holy fire. And it's free. I'm going to put out my homepage. And if you're done trying to piece yourself together in silence, if you're ready to actually live the version of you that you've been hiding, then join me inside of True Self Revolution, where it's a bunch of bad bitches like you and me that are here to be community. I am going to host retreat. We are going to travel the world together. We are going to walk together. We are going to love each other. And we're going to live actually the version of ourselves that we have been hiding. Because reclaiming our shadow is just the beginning. In learning to lead from wholeness, that's the revolution. I'm so grateful that you are on this journey with me and you're watching and listening. And please subscribe and like, because that actually helps the algorithm. Huh. And I'll see you guys next time on Dichotomy with Shannon. You got this. Keep going.